me today. I'm so excited just hearing from Amy and Jen already. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we're thinking, and all that thing. So hopefully it's not too redundant. I volunteered in a myriad of ways through probably every season of my life. Sometimes I served out of obligation or guilt, and other times I was really passionate about a cause, and I wanted to take on a new challenge. So little did I realize that this career of volunteering would prepare me for a church staff role that I've had for the last 9 years in lay mobilization. And I really hate saying that title because what it basically means is I work with anyone who's not clergy in our church, so the congregation people, and help them discover what their passions are and what their abilities are and where they might want to use those to make a difference in the church, outside the church, in God's kingdom. So the mission of this role is to connect, equip, mobilize, and sustain Christ followers in ministry and service to promote spiritual growth for them personally and then to further God's kingdom. So people volunteer for a variety of reasons, but there's always a motivation behind that. So why would people take their time, their money, and their talents to become involved? What does it take to get volunteers involved at any level and to stay involved? So one of my great gurus of volunteers, Tom Rainier, I found this kind of in a nutshell, what he kind of explained as the motivations of serving. The basic level is the self-serving drive. These are people that join an organization because it meets their needs for business, for friendship, for belonging, and often they're getting something out of it. So when we recruit for this type of a volunteer, we stress the personal benefit that the volunteer will receive. So examples of this are service hours for school. They have to have those. That's a personal benefit for them. For networking, a lot of times you join an organization because you're looking for a job or you want to get your feelers out there of what's available, and also interns looking for experience or mentors. That's kind of examples of self-serving. The secondary is the relational drive. People join an organization, often volunteer because of friendship. A friend personally asks them to volunteer. This is our greatest recruiting tool. We can put all the things in the bulletin we want to, but unless someone says, hey, would you do this with me, it's really hard to say no to that. And that's how I got involved a lot with schools, because I would like the person to ask me, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Whether I was passionate or not, I wanted to be with them. So that's the second relational drive. And then the highest level is the belief drive. This level is the strongest level of commitment. These people volunteer because of their passion for a cause. They believe in it, even if it will cost them a great deal of personal sacrifice and pain. So this is when the volunteer is highly motivated. This is kind of on the level of a Gandhi or Mother Teresa, to take it to the extreme. But people join and volunteer because they really believe the cause is right. So in the church, we have places for all of these types of volunteers, and we can use each type of motivation to enlist volunteers. It's kind of fun to see some of them come in as self-servers, and then they kind of get more and more passionate about it, and they end up being driven by their beliefs. Just one more thing to stress, and I think it kind of fits a little bit with what Amy and Jen were talking about. We want to stress at Anderson Hills the importance of families serving together. This is an excerpt from the book Sticky Faith, and they've done a lot of research to see how a child's faith will stick. They usually go when they're younger because we make them. They maybe will go through high school because we make them, and often, and I still meet with adults today, in college I kind of fell away, but now that I have kids, I'm back into the church. So anyway, what they did is just did a lot of research, and it proved that when young people were on a trajectory of lifelong faith and service, that it often stuck with them through adults. And I think Amy and Jen, some of the stuff they taught is proving that. So just look at this really quick. This is more about how you make faith stick. But in our church, we often see adults that get involved because of their children. I'm sure that's happening in the schools too. But then on the other hand, we see children who become adults that volunteer because this habit was formed at a very young age. So I feel like God just kind of put both of those talks together here today. So I think my purpose here today was to talk about some of the opportunities that we have found that maybe would be available to you. So at Anderson Hills United Methodist Church, we don't want to settle for being just a church in the community. We strive to be a church of the community. And what that means for us is that our volunteer opportunities and outreach projects impact the community in such a way that if we closed our doors, the community would notice. So I want to share a few of our upcoming and ongoing volunteer opportunities with you today. You don't have to be a member of our church to get involved in any of these. They're just out there, or maybe it'll get your wheels turning of something you could do similar to that. So 4 times a year, we coordinate a Serve Sunday. And this is a really easy way for our people in our church, or individuals and families, to try a one-time serving event. They're not taking on a huge commitment. It's just, hey, come and try this, see if it fits your needs. We strive to have projects that fit all ages and variety of skills and talents that people can work with. Our next one's coming up on November 19th, so this is really a timely time to plug that. And it's going to include 4 opportunities. The first one is at Beach Acres. Oh, it's at our church, actually. It's for Beach Acres, the foster care community. Volunteers will pack and beautify themed gift baskets for Beach Acres Foster Family Holiday Party. And maybe Tom will tell us more about that. But we just put these gift bags together, kind of swag bags for the party, and we have people that go out and shop for that stuff and then put them together into baskets. This, one of the things we've tried to really look where God's already working in the community and partner with him in that. We were brilliant at dreaming up new ways you could serve, and as they were saying, you can't fix the world. So what we tried to see, and this one came out of a group, a couple families in our church were really starting to invest in foster care. And so out of that, it's like, okay, as their church family, how are we going to support them? And it kind of led to that link. So we're trying to be more intentional, not just do anything that comes down the pike, but again, does it fit our mission and vision of what we're trying to do? We are a big partner with Mount Washington Elementary School. So one of the things we're going to do on the 19th is a group of volunteers is going to serve a Thanksgiving-themed lunch and mingle with the families and help them make gifts for under-resourced families that we'll use later for the holidays. This is a great one for kids. Kids mingle with kids. They can open doors that the adults either don't feel comfortable doing, but kids they have no inhibitions. They just go in there, and we love to see that happen. We've got great stories of kids serving others. We'll do bingo at Mount Washington Care Center. Again, older people, we provide refreshments and help them with their bingo cards. And the final one we're going to do this time is volunteers are going to prepare and pack meals for delivery to our 4 area fire stations, just to show our appreciation for Anderson Fire and Rescue. We do a lot with them. We love having that partnership with them, and so try to appreciate them as often as we can. So that's all Serve Sunday. This is an ongoing thing we do through the school year called Whiz Kids. You might have heard about it before. It's a partnership we have with City Gospel Mission and Mount Washington Elementary, and it's a literacy-based one-on-one tutoring and mentoring program that's designed to work with local churches and organizations to provide tutors for children. This fall, we have 24 students and 24 tutors, so we were grateful to God for providing that and matching that up. However, we're always looking for new tutors and substitute tutors, so people are welcome. And we have Laura, my friend Laura, and coworkers here. We have people outside of our church tutoring, probably maybe half as we do inside. I'm not sure the statistics there. They're trained through City Gospel. We try to equip you and everything, and you're ready to go. But the great thing about this is we're starting to see, or Mount Washington's starting to see, the teachers, they were a little leery when we started this, but it's boosting the children's academic scores, it's creating stronger readers for them, and it's improving confidence. So this year, we have some 5th and 6th graders that started with this as 1st graders, and it's been interesting to see those relationships develop. The great thing about this, it's not only academic, but our volunteers become more than tutors. They become mentors and friends and positive role models for these children. So it's fun to hear from the volunteer side too, how much they're benefiting from this program. And another thing with with Mount Washington Elementary, is that they don't have the volunteer support that some of us that grew up in Forest Hills was used to. I was amazed when I moved here, and the volunteers that we had for anything the PTA did, they don't have it down there. It's just a very different kind of environment. So what our church does is we try to do volunteer opportunities in the library, in the classrooms, just like we would do if our children, were in the school. One thing we do every year is the teacher back to a school breakfast, because they don't have the resources or the people that do that. So that's become a tradition for us. The final thing with Mount Washington is we do a summer vacation Bible school. We used to do a huge production at our church, and we kind of thought, going back to the basics, the purpose of Vacation Bible School is to get the message of Jesus out there. It's fine to do it at our church, but it was our church people that were coming to it. So now we take it down there. It's a little more logistically challenging, but we've seen that thing grow. You know, we have walk-ups come, we minister to families that way, we get to know the parents. So it's been a stretch for our church. It's a very different thing to do, but we're starting to see the fruit of that. So it's exciting. We do have several international mission trips. One opportunity that an organization we work with is Back to Back Ministries based out of Masons. They're local. And they're dedicated to being a voice for orphans. So just a few weeks ago, we sent our 8th team, so 8 years, to Monterrey, Mexico. And a lot of our members are taking their elementary children. The schools will let them go because it's very educational to go to a different country and see the lifestyle. And again, we're promoting that serving as a family. So that's kind of evolved there. Several years ago, when my daughter was a senior in high school, we got to be a part of this team. And my daughter had served in Romania for a couple years through her school. And I'd never gone. I had a lot of inhibitions about going on any mission trip, actually, because I don't like to get dirty and I don't like to do that. So we went, that's me, like hairdos ago, down there, and Ann went with me. She was like my comfort versus me taking her. But I really think my whole reason for going was to prove to my church family that if I could do it, anybody could do it. And it was a wonderful, wonderful trip. So. This one you might have heard of. We have done Project 5000 for 33 years at Anderson Hills, back to our legacy of serving. This was named after the miracle of Jesus feeding 5,000 people with a couple loaves of bread and a couple of fish. And Kroger has been a valuable partner. I mean, this thing has just evolved where we used to have a little kind of, at the back of one of the aisles, a little display. Now they do it at the front of the store. The employees pack boxes, so if you don't want to shop, you just can go and buy. You don't have to do. They just the boxes are packed there. They scan them all, and so we have been doing this. And the boxes go to Southeast Ecumenical Ministry, Interparish Ministries, in Benton County, Ohio, which is the poorest county in the state. I think the neat thing about this project is it is very community oriented, and we've switched it. We used to do it in Laura. When we used to do it, Lent. Because it was kind of people thinking service. We have actually switched this project starting in May and June because that's when the food pantries are bare. So again, listening to who are we trying to serve. They get lots of stuff, around Christmas and all that. So we're trying to come in when the shelves are a little more bare. So we are getting ready to celebrate our 200th birthday in 2020. We've got people going through our archives to plan this celebration of that began as a little church on Forest Road. There we are. We moved to the power substation on Beachmont Avenue, which Beachmont looks a little different these days than it did. I love that picture though. It's like, can you even imagine what it'd been like to get on Beachmont Avenue? And then just this past June, we celebrate our new Connection Center. We're trying again to be a place where the community can come in during the week. We have coffee, we have Wi-Fi. We partner a lot with Anderson because they're right there. So because of all their construction, they did a lot of their football banquets and that kind of stuff. It was just an extra space. So again, being a part of the community like that. Our greatest resource has always been our volunteers, our people. And every task in ministry matters to God because people matter to God. So ministry and service are not just done inside of our church, which is the tendency. We kind of want to keep it inside, but we've really made an effort to go outside the walls into the community and the world to share God's love. So up front here, I have some business cards and a handout that has all those specifics of Serve Sunday, if you and your family might be interested in that, and times of our services. We'd love to have you visit us. And I did want to introduce my friend, Laura Berger. She's our Director of Care and Outreach at our church. She actually puts together all the Serve Sunday. So if you have really questions, I'm glad she's here because she can answer those probably better than I can. So thank you so much.
Thank you.